Hello and welcome to Mervin's Crick Quiz. You must be knowing during the end overs and slog overs, boundary hitting is the main objective for any batting side. But do you know the boundary frequency, the number of balls that each player is taking to clear the fence or hit a boundary? Well, to know more, watch till the end of the video. What we see in this visual are basically the boundary hitters broken down into three parts. The blue ones indicate the players who are striking one boundary per over. The green ones indicate the players who are a little bit more devastating, more than two boundaries in an over. And the red ones indicate the ones who are just rotating strike and not striking boundaries regularly. And if you see, there are teams like DC, KKR, Mumbai, Punjab, and RCB who have a mix of players striking more than two boundaries and also striking one boundary per over. While there are teams like Chennai, Lucknow Super Giants, and Rajasthan Royals who have most of their players striking one boundary per over uniformly. In this example of RCB, you can see that Faf du Plessis, highlighted in green, is striking more than two boundaries in an over, with boundary coming every three balls. And if you look at Dinesh Karthik, Glenn Maxwell, and Virat Kohli, they have got around 3.5 to 4 balls per boundary, which means they will be striking once per over during these closing overs for RCB. In the case of Punjab Kings, what is very interesting to know is Mayank Agarwal, who would generally open the batting. When he does play towards the end overs or slog overs, which means he is fully set, look at his strike. He is striking two boundaries for every over during this period, and the rest of the guys striking one boundary per over. We all know the destructive Rishabh Pant, and this graph here is highlighting exactly that. He is also striking at two boundaries in these closing overs and can be extremely destructive. While we have Powell also doing the similar damage, but four balls he is taking per boundary for Delhi Capitals. For Mumbai Indians, another example of what a well set opener can do. Ishan Kishan and Rohit Sharma, both striking two boundaries per over when it comes to the end overs if they are playing during that phase. And if you look at the mighty Kyron Pollard, Tim David, and Daniel Sams, they have been striking one boundary per over during these end stages. For KKR, destructive Andre Russell was expected to be in green, more than two boundaries in an over. Nitish Rana also surprisingly has a very good record in the ending overs. And if you look at Sam Billings, Shreyas Iyer, and Ajinkya Rahane, only one boundary per over towards the closing stages. For Sunrisers, Nicholas Puran is in red. It shows 6.5 balls for a boundary, which means he's very rarely likely to hit a boundary within an over. While the rest of Kane Williamson, Abdul Samad, Rahul Tripathi can very well have one boundary and score about 10 or 11 runs per over during this phase of the innings for Sunrisers. For Gujarat Titans, you have these power hitters in the form of Captain Pandya, Tewatia, and David Miller striking at every four balls, a boundary every four balls. Shubman Gill is the only standout there who has not really kicked off during this phase of the innings in the IPL so far. For Lucknow Super Giants, pretty much every player is striking one boundary per over, but if you see among them, KL Rahul is the most likeliest who is going to be striking more than two boundaries in an over because at this point he will be well set and ready to fire on all cylinders. For Chennai Super Kings, all the experienced names striking a boundary every four balls. The only one standout here is Ruturaj Gaikwad. Once he is set and is batting at this stage, he is more likely to be striking at two boundaries per over. All of the Rajasthan Royals Halla Bowl is happening towards the end. If you see Joss Butler, Sanju Samson, Shimran Hetmeyer are at 3.5 balls almost per boundary, almost trying to score two boundaries every over. Rian Parag is the only one who is slightly slow at 4.7 balls per over. So do let me know how did you like the content. Like, share and subscribe on Mervin's Crickwiz and keep watching for more.